Hey, technical difficulties, but we love it. What's going on, everybody? Buff Mafia _716 coming at you live on a just absolutely gorgeous Western New York Friday. We are live. We are going to do some general, guys, Bills updates, some stuff that's been happening. We got some very important account updates that we're going to be throwing your way. And yes, you guessed it, this will be posted onto the account later. So if you're watching this live, if you're one of the 20 people that just already joined just like that watching live, welcome. If you're one of hopefully hundreds of people watching this later, welcome as well. We're going to give you guys some just general updates. The D-Hop watch obviously is still on. I think we should get that out of the way. So let's just get the D-Hop thing out of the way. All right. To keep it short, our prediction, based on everything we're hearing, is that he will not be signing with the Buffalo Bills. All right, that's not saying that we don't want that to happen. Let me make that very clear. Would love to have him on the Bills. Adam Schefter, along with several other NFL insiders, are calling it a long shot, mainly because D-Hop is now looking to chase that bag. And good for him. He should. The guy has been through chaos as far as organizations he's played for, Cardinals and Texans alike, two of the, I'd say, lackluster franchises across the NFL the last decade or so. And thank you from JB Semrau. Can we stop with the D-Hop talk already? That is why we're getting out of the way early. So we're covering that because I want to get out of the way and I want to talk about more Bills things. We got people on this roster that I would love to talk about and break down. But yes, D-Hop, it's looking like it's going to be a price tag thing. After the Bills signed the veterans and the draft picks, we're left with just a little bit over $1 million in cap space. Yikes. So only way that would really work for D-Hop is if Deion Dawkins and Trey White both got restructured contracts done. We've been saying that for weeks. That is what it would take. And for the record, that is a very achievable thing. So that's part of the reason we're saying it's not that we don't want D-Hop on the Bills. It's just not looking very feasible. If I'm Trey White coming off that injury, this is not the time to be gambling and taking a pay cut to try to win a ring. This is a guy's career at stake. Deion Dawkins, he's a franchise left tackle. He's a premier left tackle. Yes, he's a teammate guy and the fans love him. But if I'm him, he doesn't really need to be taking a pay cut. He's our starting left tackle. Right? If you're planning on replacing him, that's another thing. But he's our starting left tackle. That's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at as far as the D-Hop update. My prediction is it's either going to be Cleveland or Detroit. They have the money to pay him. They're not obviously like sexy destinations as far as like from a football standpoint, from a team history standpoint, either of those teams. But there's familiarity with Deshaun Watson with the Browns. The Lions are a team on the cusp, and they have the cap space. So that's my prediction where he's going to go. Let's move on from D-Hop. Let's talk about the players that are on this roster of the Buffalo Bills. And if you are just joining, welcome. If you're watching this later, welcome as well. I'm going to read a few comments, and then we're going to get into just some OTA updates. We've got Twistello 2, okay. Can we talk about, I like the offensive tackle battle with Spencer Brown and I believe Snell. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Offensive tackle, offensive line in general, some of the position battles that we could be seeing there, and that's a lot has to do with what we're seeing in OTAs from JB Semrau, not just Bills Mafia in general, bro. Not you. So yeah, from the D-Hop talk, and I get that. Thank you from JB Semrau. But obviously it's a huge story. We're going to talk about it. There's nothing else going on in the offseason. Luke Critch, D-Hop is going to the Titans. I do not see that happening, but interesting. DXXs, we could use him, but we don't need him. Exactly, and I think that's kind of where the Chiefs are at with this too, with D-Hop. We won 13 games last year. We lost 3 games by a combined 8 points. We do not need DeAndre Hopkins. We would like DeAndre Hopkins. He'd be great, but you never know if that's going to stunt the growth of a guy like Gabriel Davis. We just signed these other guys, and Deontay Hardy and Trent Sherfield. You draft Justin Shorter. I'm going to pass. So, still reading some comments here. Benford over Elam, Alex Nova, super hot take. And then SS Anderson NY, talk about what matters. Where's JA head at? Yeah, we're not gonna get, I know where that comment's alluding to, the Haley Steinfeld situation. We're not gonna talk as much about that. If you want to hear myself and 2 other gents talk on the whole Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld saga, great place for you to go is the link in our profile bio. On Buff Mafia _716 Instagram. That'll take you to our recent appearance on 2 in the Cooler. Awesome podcast out of Buffalo. Shout out Matt and Andy, the brothers. Go check that out if you haven't already. Link in bio if you want to hear the Haley Steinfeld updates. Or if you want to hear a lot more than just that, as electric as hilarious as that whole saga is. Draft talk, record prediction, outlook for the Buffalo Bills. Check that link in bio, 2 in the Cooler. our recent appearance on that podcast. Love those guys. They do some great stuff. So yeah, that, if you want to hear about that, that's the place for you. We're going to talk a little bit about OTAs though, guys. So without further ado, Brandon Shell signed yesterday. Is it Snell or Shell? Someone correct me. Shout out him. He reposted our Instagram story of the announcement of the signing. So former Dolphin, former Seahawk. He allowed 2 sacks on almost 480 pass blocking snaps last year with Miami. Shell did. So Shell, I knew I got that right. I think someone else commented Snell, and classic me doubting myself. Thank you, everybody, confirming Shell. Yeah, Shell Shock, already some t-shirt designs in the works there for the man. But no, he's going to... Someone saying providing competition for Spencer Brown. I just think that this is another great guy to have in the offensive line room, period. At a very minimum, what you have in Shell and both David Quessenberry is grade A backups at both tackle spots. All right, I think guys that I think could potentially start across the league and maybe even on this Bills team. But Shell being a pretty dominant player for Miami last season and a guy who's been around the league. I'm not saying that I think Spencer Brown isn't going to work out, but let's say we're at week 5 and there's just a clear area on the offensive line where we're getting beat. I'm not saying that. This is all hypothetical. Having a guy like Shell in that room to maybe even just come in for a series or two, provide that relief, some stability. Love that signing. And he's got experience playing on the left side as well. So the versatility's there. Just a great signing late in this free agency period. OTAs wise. So obviously Diggs isn't an OTAs. We're not going to spend any more time talking about that. We've done enough of that on the account. Check out the Colin Cowherd clip if you want to, get a good laugh or whatever out of the whole Diggs not being an OTAs. It's a non-story. It's not a big deal. Other big takeaways from the OTAs though. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid. We want to talk about that. They are using him everywhere, from what I can hear and from what I've seen from videos, from clips from practice. Kincaid, we've been saying it all offseason, and other Bills outlets have been saying it too, and it might be a little bit overdrawn out or whatever, or oversaturated at this point. Offensive weapon. Think offensive weapon when you think of Dalton Kincaid. They are putting him in the backfield at times, running routes out of the backfield. They're using him in the slot. They're putting him outside. They're doing 2 tight end looks with him and Dawson Knox on the line. Cannot wait. Super excited for Kincaid and what he's going to do with the Bills. Not just as a rookie, but, you obviously make that pick with a future projection. Just already in OTAs. And Dorsey even said they don't even know, they haven't even begun to scratch the surface in a lot of ways on how they're going to use this guy and utilize him with Josh Allen, this offense. Running 12 personnel, but really 11 and a half, 12 and a half personnel in some cases, with the positional flexibility and just the general versatility of a football player that Kincaid is. So, love it. Zach Coward's telling me to block Luke Critch. If Luke wants to sit in here and dog the Bills and watch a whole live stream, I'm not going to stand in his way. That's pretty that's pretty bold of him. I think it's a Jets fan or a Patriots fan having some fun here. But yeah, good comment from Zach Coward 24 encompassing. We don't discriminate as far as Bills fans in general. We don't discriminate, but Bills fans, NFL fans, non-football fans alike are welcome on Buff Mafia _716. It's a fun time. Alex Nova, I'm going to read a comment really quick. Who else is very concerned about Dorsey? Not me, okay? So let me talk about Dorsey a little bit. Rookie offensive coordinator, led the second most effective offense in his first year calling plays. I'm not very concerned about Dorsey. I'm also not very concerned about Sean McDermott calling the defensive plays. Again, I could completely change my tune after this next season, but I'm going into this season very optimistic in this coaching staff. All right, that's not something that I think, obviously we'll have gut reactions after the Bengals game and the armchair coaches and GMs will say what they need to say, but I'm not very concerned about Dorsey. Neither am I concerned about McDermott calling defensive plays. More OTAs takeaways. So we signed the kid, the XFL receiver, 6'4", that we worked out yesterday, I believe. And if you want that update along with a lot of just general OTA updates, I think it's a couple posts back. Check that out. Shell is the picture that you'll see. Pretty much got you covered with anything you need so far as big signings since the draft. So check that post out. But yes, XFL receiver, got some more size. Obviously, we talked about Justin Shorter earlier, but also Tyrell Shavers, another undrafted free agent, 6'4". They had a vision in mind, I think, when adding weapons this offseason, and it was to get more athletic, get just better playmakers in general with the balls in their hands. We see that with the Hardy pickup says a lot about that, Damian Harris, and then they also wanted to get some size, and they did that. They drafted Shorter. They brought in a lot of a significant number of the undrafted free agent guys or the vet guys in the receiver room are big-bodied dudes. So it's going to be a nice competition towards the back end of that wide receiver room with that role and with those kinds of receivers. Great comment here from Alex Nova. Dorian Williams over Bernard. So another great OTA thing we can touch on. Dorian Williams right now is being penciled in as your starting middle linebacker next to Matt Milano to start the 2023 NFL season. That's significant. I did not think that was going to be, I guess, unfolding as early as it has. I was very big on Dorian Williams coming out. I did not have the negative reaction that a lot of Bills fans did with where he was drafted. I think because a lot of people, and that's not even a negative reaction as far as the player, let me make that very clear. This draft board was so uncertain with how it was going to fall from the 3rd overall pick on. Okay, we had no idea what was going to happen. We didn't even really know what was going to happen with the 2nd overall pick with the Texans, okay? So Dorian Williams, a lot of people had 4th, even 5th, I saw as low as 5th round grades on him. I saw some people with 3rd and 2nd round grades on the guy. So the way we interpreted it, especially this linebacker class, was all over the place. Jack Campbell, some people had him going the 3rd round. I was going 16th overall to the Lions. Dorian Williams has a real chance, coming from a system at Tulane that was very similar to what the Bills run defensively. He has a chance to be a very important and solid contributor on this Bills defense year one. And I love that. And I know that's very different from what we got from Terrell Bernard last year. And to address the comment more specifically from Alex Nova, Dorian Williams over Bernard, yes, but I don't think Terrell Bernard's future on this football team is by any means written in the sand or over yet. I mean, people want to look at the fact that he didn't have a lot of on-field production as a rookie. Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano were in that defense, guys. I don't know, how much can you really expect from the guy? A lot of people wanted more contribution on special teams. He did play special teams. He did teams. It's not, so it was a rookie year. I think that the people, and I'm not just saying that because he shares his last name is my first name. I'm not just saying that, guys, okay? Electric last name, I'm not going to lie, Bernard. But, I think people are getting a little bit too quick to write that and put that in writing as far as Terrell Bernard. Really excited about his outlook and what he can still do on this football team. Shout out Alex Nova. Got to run. Go Bills. If you guys got to run, if you can't stay for this live stream, we will have it posted to the account later. Hard tacos are bad. I haven't tuned in for a while. Forgot how well spoken you are on the Bills. Glad to see it again. Hard tacos are bad. My favorite handle on this app. Love you, bud. Go Bills. Buffalo love. DXX. Dorian Williams will be successful. That's the hope. And hey, I know that draft position, there was another reason people were starting to get a little bit antsy about picking Dorian Williams the end of 3rd is the linebackers. The linebacker pool had very much dried up at that point. But I can say this without a doubt, Dorian Williams, when that got announced, I jumped out of my chair and let out a big holler and a hula. So I was very pumped about that, and you should be too if you're a Bills fan, because I think this kid, 95th percentile for his position in the NFL draft as far as the 40-yard dash. The kid can fly all over the field. The tackling, I personally think he's a solid tackler. I've seen some things where there's some critics and some skeptics about, mainly because he doesn't have that sequoia tree, Tremaine Edmonds size, and how that's going to project to the NFL. I think a very solid tackler, Dorian Williams, but even more important, the speed and the coverage ability this kid's going to give you on the back end, covering against the tight ends. I'm not telling you he's going to go one-on-one with Travis Kelce as a rookie and lock him down. I'm not saying that. But the upside is there. Very happy about the Dorian Williams pick and what he's been showing and what the coaching staff clearly seems to think of him in OTAs. And that's what we've mainly been talking about, guys, if you're just joining late, is OTAs and some big takeaways, mainly with the rookies, because that's the stuff that we don't know, and the stuff that everybody, can't wait to see as far as the rookies making their debuts. Moving a little bit more towards outlook, guys, and talking about now that free agency is completely, I'd say, dried up. I don't think D-Hop's coming to the Bills. Let's look a little bit at where the Buffalo Bills got better through the draft and free agency and where we may be a tick or two down. But before I jump into that really quickly, guys, got to give a quick little self-plug, I guess, to Buff Mafia _716. Guys, if you are on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, same handle. If you are on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube. Same exact handle, same thing, same guy doing the thing. We are brand spanking new on YouTube. We just put up our first video today, so go check that out. It's from our clip with Two in the Cooler, our appearance there. And then the Twitter, we have been ramping up the last month. I'm very confident with what we're doing over there on Twitter, and it's a lot of the same stuff that we do on the Instagram, guys. We're just trying to tackle even more platforms and just give you even more Bills content for free, because this is fun and I like doing it. So go check out our Twitter and our YouTube out in addition to our Instagram. But guys, so outlook, okay, where we got better. I think our overall depth as a team 2 ticks in the win column for the Bills, or 3 ticks, or whatever you want to, whatever have you. We added Taylor Rapp in the defensive backfields as a great piece, backing up Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. We are going to be having Christian Benford coming back. Offensive line-wise, guys, I already talked about the tackles, but awesome. Drafting Osiris Torrance in the second. If he's not starting, that is one of the best backup guards in the NFL right off the gate. And I think he will start. There pretty soon then. Got a phone call, declined it. I think we're all good. Awesome. But yeah, depth, overall depth as a team in the win column. Even quarterback, you sign Kyle Allen. I love that. Running back, bring in Damian Harris. So depth is a big win. I'm going to say this, and I just gassed up Dorian Williams a ton, but front 7, I think we either stayed the same or got slightly worse. And that's partly speaking to, I think, the quality of player that Tremaine Edmonds is. That's not really a knock on Dorian Williams. I would say front 7, I would have liked to see Poona Ford was a great addition, but 1 or 2 more young players, either on the interior or on the outside edge rushers, because we just don't have that many players under contract beyond this season. Ed Oliver's contract completely up in the air. Clearly doesn't love this account. Second Bills player I can confirm to date to block us. So him and Tyrod, shout out you guys. But that is what it is. Ed's going to do his thing. My point is that the defensive line, I would have liked to add, even in the draft, even if it was a 5th or 6th, a late round pick, 1 or 2 more developmental guys, especially when you have a leader like Von Miller in that room to learn from. So front 7, I wouldn't give us a tick or whatever, what do you want to call it, in that column. Another area where I thought we got better, overall offensive pass catchers. Okay, guys? And I know that you see like a guy like Isaiah McKenzie, a little dirty leave town. Cole Beasley, I think, officially hangs him up. You might be saying we did. I have a really high outlook for both Hardy and Sherfield. I think that those 2 signings are flying way too under the radar. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid, shout out the Fantasy Football Show, Smitty hopping on. But, yeah, guys, it's good stuff. Good stuff from a pass catcher's perspective. And then I'll end with this. One area where I thought we got a little bit worse, if not better, and this is a little bit worse, if not stayed the same, it would be the running back room. And you might be looking like, what are you talking about? We just signed Damian Harris. You were gassing him up. We just signed Latavius Murray. Devin Singletary, we are going to see, guys, and I like James Cook too. We're going to learn, I think, pretty early that some Bills fans took Devin Singletary for granted. All right, that's my pessimistic hot take early on in June 3rd or whatever it is here. We're going to learn a little bit, I think, what Devin Singletary meant to this team as far as his efficiency, as far as his yard per carry. As soon as there's a game where we feel like we can't run the ball. And I know that narrative has also been a little bit blown out of proportion recently with the Buffalo Bills having a very high yard per carry average, both from the running backs and, of course, our superstar quarterback. But, yeah, just kind of quick outlook, guys. Doing a quick live stream here. We're going to probably wrap up in a second. We'll have it posted to the account. Make sure, the messages, the news I put out early, definitely make sure you're following our Twitter, our YouTube, and, of course, our Instagram if you're not already. And check out that link in the bio, too, in the cooler clip, guys. Thanks, Grandma. Buff Mafia _716. Guys, got a lot of content coming down the pipe, more player profiles. I'm not going to say who is next, but if you missed our 3 that we've done already on Connor McGovern, Deontay Hardy, and Taylor Rapp, go check those out on the account as well. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buff. Take it easy, guys.